Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is what is it, Sam?
It's Warlock Wednesday.
Warlock Wednesday!
I love
Hooray!
Warlock Wednesday. What's not to love? It's the best day. It's the best class. Objectively. So, what are we talking about today, Bob?
Today we will be covering the Eldritch Invocation, Mask of Many Faces.
Indeed. This is... I failed so miserably to try and even do that. This is really simple. So this is... Mask of Many Faces just reads, you can cast Disguise Self at will without expending a spell slot. Disguise Self, you make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends or until you use your action to dismiss it. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller, and can appear thin, fat, or in between. You can't change your body type, so you must adopt a form that is the same basic arrangement of limbs. Otherwise, the extent of the illusion is up to you. And then this is illusion, so like things can touch you and stuff, and they'll know what's going on. People can check to see, but it's your spell save to see if you exist, all that fun stuff. I think I overrate Disguise Self pretty heavily. That being said, I love these kinds of invocations. This might be one of the worst of them, but it's still a very fun time. Yeah.
I guess it depends on what you want to do with it, but I think it's pretty good. I mean, at will, no spell slot cost. I mean, it's like you're the end of the Michael Jackson's Black or White video.
Sure. There's also there's a race in the game called Changelings that can kind of already do this as just a racial trait. And I don't find Changelings have ever really been an issue at any of my tables, nor have I found that their change appearance comes up all that often. I think where I ultimately land is that, like, the usability of Disguise Self, I overrate a lot. I think it's fun to have the ideas that come with being a different person. I think there's a lot of neat little espionage and infiltration stuff that comes with changing your face. I find in an average adventuring day, how often does a thing you're shooting at care what you look like? Right? And if that's what the bulk of D&D tends to be, which is you go into dungeons, you fight monsters, you fight big bads, you solve problems, that's not really playing on that axis at all. And in the other axis of like out of combat world exploration, in the worlds of espionage and intrigue, it is a really specific tool, right? It's just you have an ability to disguise yourself. Disguise kits can kind of do that too. That being said, this one is very flexible. I do love that about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it more or less for espionage and intrigue and all that, and more for like I want to be able to do bad things, but not have everybody know it was me. So
have you heard of this invention? It's called a bag over your head.
Well, that prohibits you from seeing
the holes. It's very easy.
Yeah, but then people know that guy's up to no good. That.
Sure.
All right, I mean, you're talking about the clan.
Sure. Listen, I agree that there can be lots of things spurred to action by having a tool that says, oh, I don't have to look like it. I want to do something dumb. I want to make myself look different and then go do the dumb thing. Or better yet, I'm going to look like that one NPC we all think is a jerk, and then I'm going to go do the dumb thing. And I think that's honestly a pretty good use case for it, and probably where it is at its happiest, at its best. Is that good? It's fun. I definitely give it that.
Well, also, you're a warlock. You probably got a pretty good charisma.
True.
You can change into the opposite sex and do some seduction.
I thought you were going in a very different route than you did. But yeah, absolutely. This is a tool for like just social engagement, right? As a high charisma character, if you want to be a warlock, that objective is to be the face of the party, but not a face that you're above board, you're persuading, you're doing the deception, you're doing the performance, you are putting on a show, you are lying and scheming your way into every kind of bar and establishment around. That's where I think Mask of Many Faces is a shoe-in, is like, oh, this is obviously what my character wants to do. This is a tool that goes on that toolkit. Its cost is pretty high, especially whenever you could just be a changeling, right? Like, that race existing makes this a lot worse, but also makes this a lot worse is a lot of the times the utility of Disguise Self kind of goes down as new tools are added to your toolbox. Like as invisibility is added to the game, the use cases where like not being conspicuous, that kind of goes away. You no longer can why be seen at all when you can just be invisible doing the shady things, right?
Because you want to frame the NPC.
Sure, but you're not going to always want to frame an NPC, right?
I am.
if your objective is to steal something and not know it is stolen, then disguise self could have been a tool that let you steal the thing still, but it would have had the consequences of people would have known it was stolen. Invisibility gets around that, right? It's a solution to a problem that disguise self kind of solved, just a little bit better. And that's a lot of things kind of fall into this category. You get even just mundane disguises can often they hold up to physical inspection. If someone punches you in the face and you've got a fake nose on, it might fall off, but it might not. If they punch you in the face and got an illusion, their fist goes a foot deeper than they thought it was going to. There's no shot they're going to be unaware of it.
How fat a guy are you making yourself? You got a foot of extra face skin.
If you have a foot of extra height, you'll absolutely notice weird things. I think people underestimate the level at which illusions don't hold up to reality. And they're holograms, right? We interface with the world in really interesting and unique ways. A wind blowing doesn't interface with disguise self at all. If you have a hat on and it gets windy all of a sudden, you don't have a tool to make the hat fly off all of a sudden and go off to different places. You don't have a tool that makes your jacket rustle or anything to that in a really organic ways to outside stimulate. You doing it, sure. If you're moving around, it'll look organic and all that fun stuff. Other things affecting it, not so much so. And your mileage definitely may vary. There may be some DMs that say the wind doesn't augment your cloak, or does augment your cloak naturally. There are other DMs that say, like, it phases through the chair that you weren't expecting as you sat down, right? There are going to be problems with navigating the illusion magic in this way that aren't problems if you just wear a different cloak. That aren't problems if you just, have a change of clothes.
Yeah, I mean, or you don't have to. How does it work? All right, so like, can I just change my physical form but keep my clothes on?
Yeah. You, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings in your person, look different until the spell ends or until you use your action to dismiss it. You can seem taller, shorter. You can't change your body type. You have to have the same basic original limbs. Otherwise, the extent of the illusion is up to you.
All right.
The changes wrought by the spell failed to hold up to physical inspection is the bulk of what we're looking at as far as concerns go.
All right, but let me present this to you. All right, all right, say I'm wearing a big billowing cloak.
Sure.
But I want to change my face to yours.
Yeah, you can do that.
So, but using this, am I changing just my face, or is it like a complete overhaul where the spell, like, even though I've got the same cloak on, I've got an illusionary version of it?
My reading would suggest you pick as many things as you'd like. Those things are the only illusory ones. So you can go as big or as small with this as you'd like. And I think you're probably right in that smaller changes are going to be a more effective tool to use, although less fun to me than, the big grandiose entire impersonation kind of things go. I'm the kind of player that loves the hiccups of planning around illusion magic, knowing I'm going to be staging myself as an evil necromancer in front of their minions, right? I need to know where my cloak is at all times. I need to have a party member that's doing, like, it's on watch to make sure, hey, step around that. Yeah, step around that. That's the kind of, I like that experience a lot as far as playing with illusions and sort of using it like holograms more so. If you want this to be an effective tool, you probably want to, again, like you suggested, small changes as you can get to make it almost imperceptible as far as differences go, unless someone actually is punching you in the face.
Yeah, but even if they're punching you in the face, I mean, like, if I changed, like I said, my face to yours, yeah, there are obvious differences, but to a quick punch, boom, like in the nose, I mean, I don't think that's going to be that perceptible.
A lot of times not. You're right. There'll be times if you're impersonating the bearded fellow and they punch where a beard should be and there isn't one.
Yeah, a little bit more perceptible.
A lot more perceptible. Are you telling me if you slapped somebody in the face and you thought they had a beard and your hand went right through that, you wouldn't notice?
If you slapped, I'm talking about punch. But yeah, all right, you probably notice.
Yeah, that again, that isn't to say if you're going between two clean shaven people, sure, that's not going to be an issue at all. There are going to be a lot of times it's not going to be any issue whatsoever. We also can think about that D&D is a game full of scaled races, like things with large, pointy, bitey snouts that can be NPCs you want to impersonate. There's a lot of different physiques in Dungeons and Dragons than in just the world where humans exist, right? So the variation there and what you want to copy and how the differences in heights and stuff start to add up make there be a little bit of work to put into this. I like that a lot. This is an invocation I find myself frequently taking. I'm so down on it because I have a really hard time consistently getting any kind of use out of it. And I think I love it. I love this spell. I love this ability. I wish I could find and be better with using it. I don't think most people can get enough juice to be worth the squeeze when it costs one of your invocations.
You're probably right, but like you, I'll still probably be putting this on my sheet.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
I'm a sucker for anything that's like a free, like at will spell,
mhm.
and this is a pretty decent one. Like
It
there
doesn't take
are other ones,
concentration. You
right?
could just look cosmetically however you want all of the time. You best believe I do use it a lot. It just doesn't matter when I'm using it, right? So my go-to invocations, if I'm not doing like if I have a build that doesn't necessitate combat invocations, it's Disguise Self and Misty Visions every single time. I'm sorry, it's Mask of Many Faces and Misty Visions every single time. I love those two, especially in Harmony, because they're both illusory and you get to be the real charlatan trickster kind of character. This just is the worst of the two by, I think, a pretty good margin, and a lot of people are going to need their Agonizing Blast. A lot of people are going to need their Thirsting Blades and stuff. There are other invocations that are more critical to builds, even a lot of the familiar stuff, a lot of like the Ritual Caster stuff that you get from the packs. This is often going to be one of the ones you go, all right, I probably should take this off my sheet for something a little bit better at this level, and I'll get it back later, maybe.
Yeah, that's it's nice that you can do that, swap them out. So yeah, I'll definitely have this on at some point.
I think it's, despite it being an at-will first-level spell, I think the reality of this Disguise Self isn't that good. And for that, I'm going to give it a 2. It's not uncastable. It's not unusable. I think at-will Disguise Self is going to be close to a racial trait. I don't think a racial trait is necessarily worth your invocation.
I'm going to give it a 3, middle of the road, with the caveat that if you got plans to use it, then a 4.
Sure. This definitely does go up in value a lot at tables. If you know you're going into an intrigue game, if you're going to play in like a very specific politics, differing noble clans and houses and Game of Thrones-esque setting, this definitely goes up a lot in value.
Yeah, this is Arya Stark.
If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're breaking in doors and killing giant gelatinous cubes that don't give a crap what you look like, it goes down quite a bit, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Mask of Many Faces. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Yeah, and like and subscribe and all that, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, informative, or entertaining, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button below. You needn't smash it. A gentle tap will suffice. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And make sure you check out the links in the description, where you'll find my Caverns Creatures series of comedy fantasy novels, Sam's full review of the spell, and other fun things.